Broadcasting from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, to around the globe. You're listening to Shark Bite Biz, your exclusive place for business strategy, sales, marketing, and tech in the roaring 20s. And now, here's your host, David Strausser.
Welcome to the newest episode of Shark Bite Biz. I'm your rockstar host, David Strausser, and this is your place to learn how to grow a business during complete chaos. We got a bomb episode for you all today, and it's something I think you will all really appreciate as we are living in this digital hybrid meeting, not meeting type world. And it's going to be pretty fun. So first though, remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can join the channel for as little as $3 a month. Hit that join button. You can become a baby shark. And, you know, if that's not exactly your thing, you can go out with our coffee brand, deadhousecoffee.com. Don't be a zombie. Drink the freshest coffee on the internet. Use code SHARK. You save 20% and all the proceeds help this channel right here. So let's get back to today's show. And it is really awesome. To sum up today's episode in one word, right here, rehumanize. We've talked about this on the show so many times. There's this big line between personal touch and automation. It's just getting blurred way too much. People, I don't know, they're thinking that they can automate any and everything. And you can automate everything. The problem is, when you do, most people, you're going to sound like a robot, okay? We don't want to be a robot. So that's where you've got to rehumanize and figure out ways to be different, to separate yourself from the rest of the bunch. And today's guest really fixes that by rehumanizing the sales process and your customer relationship. So who is today's guest? Oh, so glad you asked. Darin Dawson. Darin Dawson is the co-founder and president of BombBomb, a human-centered communication platform that enables users to use simple, personal video messages to leverage their best asset, themselves. Darin leads all sales, marketing, customer success, and product development at BombBomb, a fast-growing Colorado-based software company. He's on a mission to rehumanize the planet, and he wants to start with your business communication. So I'll shut up. Let's bring Mr. BombBomb, Darin Dawson, on in here.
Business strategy.
Darin, welcome to Shark Bite Biz. You, my friend, you just became Shark Bait.
That's awesome. I know that's the first time I've had an intro like that. Thanks, David. It's good to be here.
No problem. You know, I've been telling a couple of guests, I'm thinking about maybe trying to find like mini shark cages and just sending them out to the guests.
Oh, yeah.
You know, before the episode airs, so that way then they have like some protection there.
Something to look forward to. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, you know, very first question. It's a softball we ask everybody on this show. Who are you? What's your experience? What's your background? How did you get where you're at today? What do you do for a living? Basically, tell us what makes Darin Darin.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, I've watched the podcast, so I was prepared for this a bit. But, you know, without going too long into this, I'm the president, co-founder of a company called BombBomb. We are a human-centered communication platform, meaning that, you know, we care more, I think, about what your recipient's experience is when using us than maybe our users care about. We can get more into that maybe. Yeah. But I'm a sales and marketer by trade. I've owned a few businesses, including this one, but, you know, kind of started out early on, starting my own businesses. And one of the early things we got into is a marketing company doing print media, mail, transactional mail, email in 1999. early on, SEO early on. So, and then that transitioned. I actually also worked for a TV station, ran digital for a TV station, a NBC affiliate for about 7 years. That was a fun role for me. Helped me understand media and how to, but maybe at the time I was there is really, 2003 to maybe 2010, right before we started BombBomb. And there's really a transformational time. It's when Google was really coming on, and there was a shift in how people thought about buying traditional media, and really helped me think through the founding principles of what BombBomb was going to be. So that was really interesting. So that's, came up, but again, ran sales teams, ran content teams there. And then finally, quit my day job and started a company with one of my best buddies. And he's the other co-founder. And, he quit his job earlier than me. He left the corporate world before I did. And so we started in 2006. I think he quit his job in like 2008. And then I came on in 2011 full time. Yeah. So but I'm a sales marketer. I love sales. I like to say I'm a classically trained salesperson. I mean, I used to listen to Brian Tracy tapes driving around. Wow. If that tells you anything. Zig Ziglar.
I saw Zig Ziglar speak once.
Yeah. Amazing. Right. I feel like that's seeing the Grateful Dead in 1976. That's why I think about that. Like, it's just that amazing to see somebody like that.
Unfortunately, it was towards the end of his lifespan.
Okay.
And basically, I felt that what Zig Ziglar was doing, because it was basically his daughter leading the session with him at the time.
Okay.
And it kind of felt like he just had these recorded talking tracks in his brain that he's been saying his whole life.
I'm sure he did,
and basically she would have to lead it on, give him the microphone, and then he would answer with things that he said forever. But still, I mean, I got to see Ziglar speak, which was pretty cool.
It's the godfather of, what we call sales enablement and things like that.
You don't hear much about Zig Ziglar though anymore. That's the weird thing.
It's hard, I think, with those guys that they're icons in their own age, and to have that live on, it's always like their children that try and take that on. But you're right. I don't see them as much, but I grew up on that. I'm in my early 20s. All those folks listening to those, driving around, doing my sales gigs and things like that.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool history there. So I've got to ask you, because this is standing out like a sore thumb. Okay,
sure.
You're wearing a shirt that says Rehumanize.
Yeah, it's Friday. I wear this shirt every Friday. Just so
explain it. Great. Explain the shirt to us. Tell us what that means to you.
This is a part of the reason BombBomb exists, is because Connor and I really wanted to we were always trying to find a business that would enable us to do what we were really passionate about, which was taking care of people who couldn't take care of themselves. So we're pretty passionate about widows, orphans, the dehumanized people. And so what we talk about at BombBomb a lot, the reason you work at BombBomb is that we're trying to rehumanize the planet. That's our mission. So we wear these.
So are you saying that you hire widows and orphans?
I don't hire them, but we use our revenues. We use our time. So at BombBomb, you get time. Actually, you can give 40 hours for free every year that you can go and donate to nonprofits that you feel are rehumanizing the planet. Right. So
that's awesome.
And we partner with a community in Africa where our folks. Actually, that community in Africa adopted our people as folks that they could communicate with. And we help that community. We've helped them through COVID with food and all kinds of resources, education. But then we have locally, we partner with an organization called Dream Centers who take care of homeless families, and they give free healthcare for women. So that's a big part of what BombBomb is. We want to rehumanize the planet. Every Friday, I do a Friday video for the entire company, kind of tell them what's going on, what the deal is, what's up end of the quarter, or whatever it might be. So every Friday I try to wear my Rehumanize shirt to also remind them, especially in a remote environment, right? Because everybody's remote because of COVID. So what are we doing? Why does it matter? What's the purpose? Why do you come to work every day? So got my Rehumanize shirt on today.
How important do you think it is giving back on the global standard versus the local standard?
I think they're both important. I think it's a personal choice, but for us, again, going back, the origination story has to do with this community in Africa. And so this guy, we met him, and he was taken care of. He built this orphanage. He helping these kids that were in a slum. We met this guy. We're like, this guy's awesome. This is before BombBomb. And Connor went over there to Africa. The whole goal was to make a company generate enough revenue so Connor could live in Africa. That was our joint goal. And then we realized that BombBomb grew into something much bigger than that it could make much more of an impact in the world. So I think it's our story is that we wanted to build a business that made an impact, but we didn't know what the business was going to be. We had the idea for BombBomb with this video communication, one-to-one video. We were like, this is great. This will help service that problem. I think companies get missional, but we were missional, and then we made a company. So
no. I mean, my day job with Vision 33, we do ERP for small to mid-sized businesses. And, they're Canadians, and they're very nice people up there, as they say.
They are. Yes, they are.
And, they do some charitable efforts. My gripe with it is, they built some wonderful water stuff and schools out. I believe in Africa it was. They just posted the pictures that they did. They invested a lot of money in building these schools. But my thing is like, hey, that's great. That we're doing good things out there. But, I don't know. I view it like, hey, we're also surviving because we do things very regionally. Each region, like, for example, I run the Northeast for SAP Business One. I run the whole East Coast for the Sage Intact practice. Okay, we're taking from those local communities there where we're being able to sustain our business because of that. I do think that we have a responsibility then to give back to those local communities as well, too, besides the international needs and stuff like that. And, if I find something, they go ahead and do it. I just wish it would be a little bit more formal.
Yeah, I think people want to feel like they're connected to it. And we've tried to do that in every way. And our local initiatives, like I said, they get volunteer time to give back. I want them to choose their nonprofit, that how can they engage with that? Also, we have a homeless problem. I think a lot of cities do, a lot of communities do. And, I think that's our responsibility as a business owner in the community to help with that, not just complain about that. So one of the organizations we partner with here is called Springs Rescue Mission, who's taking people off the streets, feeding the homeless people. Let's get them the help they need, not just complain to town council.
That's a very important point. I think that a lot of people like to complain. They like to make noise, but they don't come to the table with any solutions or offer to help. You get like a lot of that not in my backyard mentality. And I don't think that solves anything. If anything, it just makes it worse because you have a lot of people yelling about something, not willing to help, and then you have that problem itself too. It's being amplified, and I think it ultimately puts the government or whoever is in charge of that area in a pretty rough spot then too.
Yeah, I believe all people have intrinsic value, all people, and so how do we live that out? And that's what I mean by. Therefore, let's try and rehumanize people that are being dehumanized. Our book, we have a book that's called Rehumanize Your Business. So our product rehumanizes your business. But at BombBomb, our mission is to rehumanize the planet through helping these people. We all got to get in this together a little bit more. If it's just about making money, you can go work anywhere and just make money. But I think people want to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves. And so we try and do both. We try and make money and be a part of something bigger. That's what
we had an episode on, I think it was like episode 31, 32, 33, something like that. Guy's name is Ed Howie. I talk about him frequently. In fact, I just had a call with him yesterday. He's a great guy. Also has a YouTube channel called Howie Grow a Brand. See how he played off his name? Howie Grow a Brand, Ed Howie. Yeah. But he has his whole shtick is that we're in a joy deficit right now, with the pandemic. You look at our cultural, political situations, all that stuff. We're in a joy deficit. We're not a happy people for the most part overall. It's more negative than it is positive. And it's like, how can you bring joy to your customers and to your local community? And it doesn't mean that you got to spend, thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. I mean, simple things like just sending them cookies, out of the blue are those little things that bring a smile to their face and helps to affect the joy deficit.
We worked with this with our customers, and as the pandemic kind of came on, and our product allows you to send personal videos, right?
Yeah.
Simply, and then help that engagement. I think again that the recipient experience, that's what human-centered communication means. It's like this idea that you care more about how you make a person feel on the other end of the message than the objective of quota or whatever that might be, right? Do we care more about how they experience us? And I think you're hitting on something here with what we told them to do was say, thank you for your business, show gratitude, and with a human face. So just say, hey, David, gosh, thanks for having me on this. I really appreciate your time that you gave me to be on the podcast. Or you
that was
say,
awesome.
Right. I did that. I sent you a personal video saying, thanks for the invitation.
I was blown
gratitude. Gratitude's a thing, right? Like, and we don't do it enough. A lot of times what we're doing when we're invading people's inboxes, LinkedIn, we talked before we got on this about the only call we get on this thing anymore is for a warranty upgrade.
Right?
Yeah.
Your extended warranty has just run out, or you did an illegal action and the FBI wants to arrest you because of the IRS.
The IRS is coming from. So we ignore this stuff now, right? We ignore it. So my challenge to our customers was like, now's the time to show gratitude. Now's the time to show empathy. How are you doing? How are you getting through this? And listen, we communicate a lot more through nonverbal than we do verbal, and certainly a heck of a lot more than text on a white screen. And so again, humans have value, and the way we interact and communicate was kind of removed from us with this pandemic. So I agree with how he's saying, like, we are missing joy. We start every meeting every morning with gratitude. What are we grateful for today? And that can be personal, professional, whatever it might be. And I think more people need to start giving that away as a gift to both their customers, their employees, the people they work with every day. Like, how do we encourage people through this time? And how do we get face-to-face more often, make an impact in a human way, and only a way humans can?
Yeah. So now you gave me a very detailed, elaborate answer for such a simple question of what does rehumanize mean. I'm kidding. No, it was great. When I saw that, I'll tell you what rang in my mind. Knowing how you sent me the video response, which I was like, wow, this is really cool. I mean, this is actually something that I am trying, I'm thinking in my head, how can I properly use this? Should I use this just for the sales stuff? Should I use it with the base? Should I use it with everybody? Will people even watch it? I'm thinking those things. But when I see rehumanize, I was thinking, because this is another topic that we've had on the show, like everything is being automated. I sell automation for my day job. My main job is to eliminate manual processes and help automate all that stuff so that your employees, not so you can fire people, but so that they can actually be dedicated for profit, revenue driving activities instead. And when you do that, especially in the sales and marketing field, what happens is you end up, a lot of cookie cutter, copy paste type stuff that just seems like, it's not original, it's not sincere, it's not authentic. So knowing what you do, when I saw that rehumanize, I was thinking, wow, that makes perfect sense with what you're doing with your video technology to be able to get that personal connection again in a digital first world.
Yep. And that it is a part of that as well. Like I said, the book is called Rehumanize Your Business. And that's the business side of this. It's like,
you're going to send me one of those autographed books, right?
I will.
Okay.
Yeah. our CMO and our chief evangelist wrote it together. They're great. They've been with me I used to work with our chief evangelist, Ethan Butte, at the TV station back in the day. So we're very dear friends. And like I mentioned, our CMOs there in Philadelphia, he could give you a copy. He's down the street. But that book is meant to speak about how do we inject more people back into that process. Now, this could be in your customer experience process, your sales process. It could be to your employees. Like I reach out with video all the time saying, good job, because I can't say it. I can't walk down to their office and say it. I can't jump by where they work and say, hey, how's it going? What's going on? And how's the family? How's the kids? So I do that via video. But, there's a synchronous video where you're on Zoom all the time, where you're interacting. There's an asynchronous, which is delivered on your time. You can watch that video, David. You got that video from me. You're able to watch it whenever you want it, right? So that's what we do. And I just think it brings more of the...
I watch it every night before I go to bed.
Yeah, I noticed that. I wondered why he kept watching it. It got really creepy. I got a great story on that, actually. A good Canadian customer. A Canadian customer of ours, his name is Michael Thorne. He's an amazing real estate agent if you're in the Vancouver area. Yeah. Great guy. And so he had sent a video introducing himself, and he mentioned every person in the family by name, saying he's looking forward to meeting them when he came to present, his listing presentation. And so he noticed that video got watched like 20 times or something. It was really kind of creepy. He thought, man, and that's kind of odd. So when he got there, it was actually their little 5-year-old daughter who was just blown away that he said her name in the video, and that connection. I mean, he got the deal, right? I mean, people desire connection. What we're doing, and nothing against automation, because there's definitely a place and a process for it. We just shouldn't automate some things, right? Some things need to be personal again. Some things need to be face-to-face again. And I think it's less is more there. So we found this.
Totally agree.
Case studies that sending one of those emails and saying, hey, David, listen, I know your time's valuable and I really respect that. But what I'm doing, maybe then I can tell you something of value and say, if that makes sense to you, I'd love to tell you more about that. Please use the link below to schedule time, or whatever that other call to action might be. That's a different approach than when I get off of this time with you. The inundation in my inbox and in everywhere else I have. Now it's my phone, LinkedIn. And to me, we're just polluting more.
I can't stand LinkedIn right now. I mean, it was such a good tool before everybody realized how to use it to find leads. And now it's just, I mean, like I blog on Medium, and my last post was just about cold calling in 2021, proper etiquettes, how to do it correctly. And I actually put a screenshot, like, don't be this guy. This guy's trying to sell me the same exact service that I already sell. You're wasting my time and his time. Do your research,
Does no one realize that they're all using the same suggested script that LinkedIn gives you to ask if you would like to connect with me? Like everyone is exactly the same. And I think now more than ever, we are very acute to that, or very sensitive to that. And it's more easy to ignore people because we don't actually believe they're the ones sending the content. Right. You don't really think that that's Clarissa or James that sent you that. You think it's a machine injecting that to you. So it's easier to ignore a machine than it is a human being.
Oh, yeah, definitely. In fact, I'm looking up right now because I actually coincidentally got connected to somebody at your company, I believe, out of Utah. He was.
Oh, sure.
I think it might have been a sales rep out of Salt Lake City, I believe. And this was, I think, right around the time that you were getting scheduled for the podcast as well. And I was chatting with him a little bit, and then I realized the company name, and I'm like, oh, I got Darin actually coming on my podcast. So, it was kind of cool, how everything just found each other like that.
Yeah, I think people desire relationships with people. I think we are a relational, animals, and so I think what we're doing is a lot of times using automation to remove that. And I think we can use automation to help the things like you were saying, to alleviate some of the human tasks, but some tasks should still be human is kind of my thing.
No, it definitely is, because, okay, so let's look at my day job again. Now, I'm not in sales anymore per se, but I still got to go in there from the management, the executive side, give the warm and fuzzy so that the people feel comfortable buying the deals. Traditionally, these things were mostly done, occasionally a web call, but on site, because it's hard for a small business owner. Maybe they're only $5-10 million in revenue, and they've got to write you $150,000 check. That's a large check, and they want to look you in the eye to make sure like this dude's not going to just jet off of my 150. And we used to do it all online. I would do and then when I was in LA, I would have a good portion of deals also that I could do online. But I think that's because it's a city like LA. It's a little bit more above the tech curve than out in rural Pennsylvania per se.
Sure.
But now since then, like everything's been digital, all demos, no on-site visits, not even the implementations of ERP we've been doing. And it was like, well, how do you get that? Because a lot of people buy services like ours because they like me. They're like, hey, David,
right, absolutely,
you're not the cheapest, okay? In fact, next week came in.
Maybe your features are the same.
Yeah.
If you're going to compare features,
they're going to be plus or less the same. What they stink at, we're excellent at. What we're excellent, what we stink at, they're probably pretty good at. And there's a trade-off.
Exactly.
And it's going to come down to usually who do they feel is going to take care of them better? And that's usually where I win. Well, how do you do that digitally? So one of the things we did was we started, like, for example, every time we're on a sales call, okay, every single person has to have their camera on, whether the customer does or doesn't. You want them to see you, see your face, see your reaction, how you're speaking. But that's where I think also your service, like rehumanizing it, the cold emails, well, not really cold, but the ongoing emails, sending those minute video clips of telling them what, probably it'd be an email this long, you're turning into a minute clip, can really be helpful to advance the sale and build the relationship.
A couple of things you said there are so important to point out that I don't think technology has done really well yet. And that is the customer has to feel like you are going to take care of them.
Right.
What technology is helping you feel? Feel is not technically capable. Feel is human capable, right?
Right.
And so for me, it's everything you said there about that sales process, but also it's the experience that we give people. That's why they're going to choose us, because I'm in the same boat. My competitors have features I don't have, and vice versa. And I could build that, and they could build it too, right? We could build anything now. It's like, but they want to work with the people they feel like are their people, or will take care of them, will service them correctly. But how do they feel that? So I think inserting my people are amazing. I know if they get in front of people more often, we're going to win more deals, right? And so we do that through video, obviously. So some important pieces we think are, when you're that cold outbound, you could warm that up. You can make them feel like that person better than you would from a text email. But also, let's say when you're delivering a proposal, hey, David, we've been talking now. I think I've got all the points here. I've highlighted them below, and you walk them through a proposal. You might have done that face-to-face in the past, but now you can do that through video, right?
Well, right now, what we try to do is get them on a Microsoft Teams call, share the screen and walk it through like that. But we're not always able to do that for whatever reason. The customer might be, hey, just send me the pricing. So that's where when we do get in those rare circumstances, when I say rare, it might be 1 or 2 out of every 10 proposals. that's where I definitely feel that there could be a need for using this type of video service.
I think the other thing that's happening in that case too is that, somewhat you want this to be like this checkbox through your sales process. Mm-hmm. So now we've had the discovery call. Now we've had the delivery of the proposal. But what if it is just send us pricing? You send that pricing, then that pricing, we use screen share in our technology to do that. So you can actually go through the proposal.
That's awesome.
But then that gets shared and it collapses the time frame, because now what happens next, usually, unless you got every decision maker on that call, you're going to have another call.
Right.
But what if you could encapsulate that in a way that those other decision makers could see that review and they can make a decision? Obviously, you want to be in play in that decision when it's being made, if possible, but sometimes it's not possible.
Right. Yeah, sometimes it's so I want to, maybe we've been talking about a lot of stuff so far today. We covered a lot of topics, a lot of different areas. One of the areas that I wanted to talk about is you grew your business BombBomb from $0 revenue all the way up to $20 million. And I guess that's what your ACV and your recurring revenue a year, 20 million.
Yeah, we're comfortably cruising about another 10 past that now. So we're growing.
You're up to 30.
Yeah.
Wow. 30 million a year in recurring revenue. Recurring revenue is so important these days for businesses. I mean, even with the coffee business that I launched as part of this podcast, Dead House Coffee, you know, because everybody's a zombie when they wake up in the morning. So you drink coffee, then you turn into, the perfect gentleman, like in a tuxedo, and you go to your wife, good morning, my lady. And, that's what happens when you drink my coffee. So it's Dead House Coffee, get back to life. But even with that, I mean, I realized hey, the most important aspect is, I can get sales here or there from dedicated fans of the coffee. But the real value is getting those subscriptions in, because having that subscription is real, predictable, accountable revenue. And if you lose one, because you're always going to have churn and attrition, it's not the end of the world, most cases. Unless it's like the guy that had like 90% of all the coffee sale for you. So how has that all played with you with creating that kind of predictable revenue each year?
I mean, it's been a long journey, of course, but I think we did it self-funded as well. So we didn't use growth capital, right? We bootstrapped it all the way, and we still are. I think a couple things along the way I learned there are, one, it takes time if you're going to do it that way, but it's the most profitable way to do it because you still own your business at the end of the day. There's nothing wrong with venture capital, but if you don't need it and you can sustain it, you should. I think people aren't willing to do that. One, because sometimes in the early days, you have to live below what you might be accustomed to actually attain it to this higher level. So for instance, are you willing to take a 50% pay cut to jump in and go full on into this to get it to where it needs to be? I think a lot of people aren't able to do that, even if they're willing to do that. And so, right, are you living, to your means or below them so that you can enable some of those things to happen, especially in the early days? Because sometimes that's your own cash. And for us, it was our own cash.
Right.
That's a big one, I think, that people miss in very early stage. But the other one is, I think people, sometimes you have to be willing to do unscalable things to make them scalable. Right. And
so what do you mean by unscalable things?
Yeah, exactly. Back in the day, I jumped into the customer success. I took phone calls, especially I think early, to hear what they were saying, to understand the problem we were solving. Are we on track with that? Is that scalable? No, it's not. But then I got out of that and made it scalable. Right. Does that make sense? So sometimes you got to do things that don't seem like they might last a long time. I think everybody says, well, how is that going to scale? Maybe that's correct. And a lot of times that is the right thing to say. But however, what if doing something for a short time that's not scalable helps you to develop, entrepreneurs solve problems that they see in the world. And a lot of times we need to take that entrepreneurial effort and kind of almost backwards into it, in that you might want to do the like, I love walking through our spreadsheets with the customers, seeing everything that's happening. I think that's not scalable, but I'll do it for a time to understand something, and I'll get an operational force multiplier out of that effort. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
no,
I think it depends on what your business is, but often we don't do things because we don't think they'll scale. But some things we need to do that don't scale for a time to make them scale. So that's all.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Good stuff. I guess because we do got to get wrapping up here. The one last question I wanted to ask is, I mean, we've talked about how this can help you humanize the connection with customers already. But what about your own employees? I mean, how can you use this to engage and empower them?
So this is one of the things I've learned through COVID, that when I was removed from the office, and I'm in my basement right now. That's why, I'm using a virtual background.
Oh, come on. I want to see your basement. I want to see no, I'm kidding.
I'll show it to you. There's a Peloton directly behind me.
That's why.
Yeah, plug. So what I do often, I do a Friday video to the entire team.
Yep.
That's why I'm wearing my shirt today, right? I want to remind them what our mission is, why they work at BombBomb. How are you retaining your top talent when you can't be face-to-face with them? You should be asking yourself that question, no matter how big your business is, right? Or what level, who you are in that business. If you lead people, how are you retaining top talent? I have a list of people today that I'm going to send good job videos to. So through the week, I've done my one-on-ones with my executives. I'm like, who's crushing it? What's going on? Tell me about the people, right? And they'll give me people and they'll tell me what's going on. So I will send out personal emails to them saying, I'm so glad you're here. Your work's important. You're important to me. I know, so I know who you are and I know what you're doing. And thank you for being here. You can't do that in the office right now. So how are you going to do it? So there's two ways. The Friday video to everybody, it's kind of just a recap of the week and what's been going on, so they're informed. And then the good job videos, but then new hires. So when we're hiring people all the time, like I would usually walk up to their desk and say, hey, nice to meet you. I'm glad you're here. Can't do that. So what do we do? So I send a personal video saying, I'm glad you're here. I heard all about you. I'm excited for what you're going to do with us. I want to build that connection.
How easy is it to insert your videos into a Outlook email, stuff like that? Are we just posting a link in there? Is it going to be the full video? How does that work?
Yeah, it's our technology. So we have a Chrome extension that works for all of that, right? So basically in Outlook, for instance, you just use the Chrome extension, hit the record button. You can choose to record yourself or your screen. And when you record the video, I just say, hey, David.
Are you able to do both? So you're doing picture in picture?
Yep, exactly. So the screen recorder function allows you to have just the screen or picture in picture.
Okay.
But the one I sent to you, it just, in Gmail, it's native in Gmail.
Okay.
In Outlook, we use the Chrome extension. Then you just copy for email, paste, and you see my face like you saw. And we use an animated GIF in the first 3 seconds. So I can be like, hey, what's up? Or anything like that. So I'm famous now for my GIFs.
I really love it. I've got to mention this just so that you know, and also for our viewers and listeners, this is one of the rare interviews that we do to where we're having you give the lowdown of your full product, the breakdown, the service. And I don't usually do that because I tell everybody, hey, don't, use it as an experience, but not the main gist of the conversation. This is one that is totally different, though, because I view that this is a very relevant necessity, really, that a lot more people should be using. And that's why I really wanted you to kind of get in there into some of that nitty gritty of how this stuff works, because I think it's awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We've worked hard on it for a long time. It comes out of this belief, again, that human beings have intrinsic value and that we communicate better when you see me. My facial expressions tell you more than the words coming out of my mouth, and they surely tell you more than the text I might put in an email.
Right. When's the last time you listened to a real voicemail?
I have to on my phone, but
On your phone, you listen. I do not listen to voice.
I do watch only if the
I delete 'em.
transcription's bad, right? The transcription's bad. I find myself having to listen to it. But you're right. I mean, it's all these things have kind of gone away a bit. And everybody talks about digital transformation. We're in the middle of this right now. And I think the pandemic has definitely escalated it in a lot of ways.
Well, yeah. So this has been incredible. You gave us a lot of good information, a lot of good food for thought. I can tell you, I'm extremely interested. I'm sure a lot of other people are going to be too. How can people stalk you digitally online?
Yeah,
remember, I said digitally. If you get a physical stalker, that's not on me.
I appreciate that. The difference there. Yeah, the clarification. I'm on LinkedIn. It's one of the easiest ways to find me. So you can hit me up there. BombBomb.com. I'm there. You can find me and read about me there if you're interested. But and then I always give my email, but don't digital pollute me. But it's Darin@BombBomb.com. It's super simple. People figure that out anyway. My mom gave me a different spelling of my name, Darin. So I feel like she always made me special.
There you go. So everybody knows, whether you're on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Deezer, wherever you listen to this show, look down in the description. You will find the links on how you can find Darin. Check his company out, BombBomb. It's amazing. I love the videos that I've gotten from him. And at first, I will admit, when I first got it, I was like, what is this? And then I'm like, oh man, I better watch it, because if not, he's going to know. So then I watched it and I saw his response and I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty gnarly. I loved it. So thank you so much for coming on. Yeah.
I look like. Yeah.
And I know that you were good in front of a camera. So I'm like, okay, easy episode. Win.
Right. I hope so. Yeah. I definitely, that evolves over time. You get more comfortable with it for sure.
That's how it works with the podcast.
Yeah, I definitely have a face for radio. That's what I think.
Same here for me. But hey, thank you so much again. And
thanks again, Dave.
I'd love to get you back sometime next year when the pandemic's over and we're doing more things in person to see how the video is going with the competition of in person again.
That'd be great, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers.
See? I told you that was going to be a bomb interview, didn't I? Sorry, you have to excuse my love of puds. First, y'all know the routine by now. If you found this interview inspiring, if it sparked some warm and fuzzies all over your body, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Remember, Shark Bite Biz, what are we? We are a community. We're a community of like-minded individuals that have a core mission of one or more of three things. Number one, personal growth. Number two, professional growth. Number three, business growth. Okay? If you're looking for any or all of the above, Shark Bite Biz is for you. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. But if you really want to do us a solid, okay? Best way that we can get out there and get more people like you is by you recommending us and sharing us to your network. Get us out there, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, wherever it is. It's okay. Just share it. I would love nothing more than to see Darin, BombBomb, and Shark Bite Biz trending. Now, let's get back to our rock star guest, Darin. Okay, like I said, this was an awesome discussion. I've got to say, when you hear something like what Darin said his company does, the concept sounds cool, right? But then as you start thinking about it, you start getting the questions like, but actually, how does this work? But will they actually watch the videos? But do I like being on video? What am I going to say? I mean, you start getting, I call them false fears, okay? You get the false fears, kind of like you get false fears with selling, like you have these fabricated fears that you think, oh, a customer won't buy because it's too expensive or whatever it may be. You get that with things like this too. Admit it, it's okay. I do. I did. Even with BombBomb, those thoughts went across my head, but it didn't come across to where it's like, nope, this is being shut down. I'm done. It just made me reach out to their tech support. So I guess I want to tell the story that he responded with the video clips. And at first, when I saw that there's a video clip in the message, you got to remember the way that I go into my podcast, I call it blissfully ignorant because I do a general screening or my assistant, we just do a general screening as far as looking for key qualifications. And it's like, perfect. This person will be good. Let's get them on the show. I do not study in detail what the company is, what the company does. Very unique that I study in detail beforehand about the company. And the reason is because I want to go into the interviews being genuine and authentic, asking questions out of pure curiosity, just like you all are at home when I'm talking to somebody. I'm trying to ask those questions. So, I didn't remember when I got this from Darin exactly what he did, his company, those types of things. It didn't click, it didn't register. So I see this little video clip thing there, and I'm like, odd. And then I clicked on it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is what they do. And it just clicked. It was like, yeah, this makes total sense. But then it led me to wondering again with like those false fears as far as, well, how do I get customers to realize that this is an actual personalized message to them and not just some generic blanket video that we send out to everybody? So coincidentally, like I was telling you a minute ago, I had to reach out to their tech support because Darin was nice enough. He gave me an account and I'm going to use it to the fullest. You send me free stuff, I will use it absolutely, okay? So I reach out to the tech support to get some clarifications, and awesome customer service agents, by the way. And when the agent at BombBomb responded back, she responded back with a video and text. So naturally, I think like most of us, you're just reading the video. You don't naturally go click I was reading the text. You don't naturally just go click automatically the video unless it was something, that you're used to, I guess. I'm not used to it. It's a retraining process for me. And to be honest, my first thought was she just sent me a generic like FAQ video that they have recorded about this stuff. Actually, I was totally wrong. I was totally off. And what made me actually click on the video was, I don't have the phone here I can grab, but, pretend this is my cell phone screen. She'd have a black screen that just said, "Hey, David," and she'd put it up to the screen like that. And, when I'm looking at the email, you see that video clip there. You don't see the whole video, but you see a clip of the video, like still shots or whatever. And that's the portion of the video that it's showing me, the "Hey, David" in front of the screen. And that's, again, another one of those light bulb moments like, damn, wow, okay, that's awesome. That totally makes sense to me. So that's when I clicked on it, watched it, and I got a better response because a lot of times it is easier to verbalize things than it is to write things in text. And sometimes text does have an advantage as well, too, where it's like, I've got to draw this out or I've got to write this out for you to see the whole thing like that. But a lot of times, especially with the issues I had, having that verbalized to me where I could also see it made so much more sense. And, I clicked it, watched it, and mind blown. And in fact, another reason why I watched it is because I knew if I didn't, they were tracking it and they would know. But no, I'm kidding. Still, though, as of right now, my mind is going off in a million different directions of how I can use this tech like BombBomb for business. And I think I'm at the point right now where I've kind of sketched out all the scenarios and it's kind of like, hey, I'm done talking about it and I'm just going full in to use it. And I'm going to see, hey, where does it perform and where is it lackluster? And is it lackluster because my messages, or is it lackluster because this isn't a good use case for it? So I think that that's probably a very long-winded but illustrating example that you can get there as far as how to exactly rehumanize your digital presence and communication between your existing clients and prospects. Video isn't for everyone, but come on. We live in a Zoom 24/7, always be ready for a video call type of world right now. Recording video emails, I mean, seriously, it's only the next step in our digital communication evolution. So it logically makes sense. And most of us are probably prepped to be able to do that relatively easy. And I found that, in my tests so far, that it's just, have a little script that you're going to read off of and be dynamic. So it doesn't sound like you're just reading a script, or have your bullet points and just hit record and make a quick 30-second or minute video. And it's pretty awesome so far. Overall, this was a great, awesome interview from Darin. I think the only other golden point that he really had, where I think I see, remember what I do for my day job. I'm with Vision 33, doing ERP, big ticket sale type items. And this is probably where I see the most value in BombBomb, and I'm going to be using it 100% when we're laying out proposals. And this is exactly because of what Darin said in the interview. He gives an excellent explanation about when you're emailing it out to a client, how you can go over all your points, bing, bang, boom, okay? And explain the pricing you're giving them. I'd really love for somebody to sell me that way. If anybody out there, you want to sell me something, use a service like BombBomb, hopefully BombBomb, and let's see if it works. Maybe I'm weird. Maybe it's just because I am a bleeding edge tech kind of guy, but still, I think that is awesome because you're given the full written proposal and an explainer video, a customized, personalized explainer video right there. Even my energy company, I think Pico here in Philadelphia, I'm pretty sure I've started seeing in the last couple months personalized bill videos that are personal to my actual bill with them too. So this is the future. Get ahead of it now. Question of the day. What do you think of prospecting with videos for the first communication? Leave a comment on YouTube here below, or the podcasting channel that you're watching from. Remember, if you want to be on the show, interviews at sharkbitebiz.com. Please don't forget, join the channel. There's a lot of perks out there. Hit that join button on YouTube. $3 a month, and you can become a baby shark. Or if you don't want to keep feeding your money through big tech, don't feel bad. We got a solution for you too. Go to deadhousecoffee.com. That's our house coffee blend right there. You can go deadhousecoffee.com. Use code SHARK. You get 20% off. All the proceeds directly help this channel. Once again, you all know this. I'm David Strausser. This is Shark Bite Biz. We'll see you all next episode. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to Shark Bite Biz. We hope you got some insightful info from this podcast. Be sure to subscribe to us through your favorite podcast app and visit us on the web at www.sharkbitebiz.com. How has business changed for you in the 20s? Email us at podcast@sharkbitebiz.com so you can join us and share your story.